Hello and welcome to MGP489. I'm Kev, and with me as ever the Sheepdog, Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're back after several weeks away. All Sheepdog's fault. He's served his sentence now, so we are able to reconvene the podcasts, which is excellent news. Are you rehabilitated, Sheepdog?
Well, I'm not going to be here next week, and I should be here the week after, but it does depend. So,
You're not here on like the biggest week of like gaming ever for me, anyway.
He never is. He's just lazy, isn't he?
it's my
He's got
thing.
no commitment in him anymore. I mean, to be fair, now you mention it, I am at Birmingham Comic Con next Friday. So I'm also not here next week. And I hadn't realised until I just looked ahead at the calendar.
Yeah, I was in a meeting today and someone was like, oh, I'm going away next week. And they were like, oh, I'm away from the 9th. And I thought, I'm away from the 10th. Is that next week? I was like, bloody hell. So, yeah, there you go. Kevin's Sheepdog are away. That makes you the mice.
So it's going to be the Anna and Pab show next week.
You'll be back, Kevin. You'll not be going out all day.
Of course we're going out all day.
Yeah, not till this time you won't be. It shuts then.
I probably will be back, won't I? I'm forgetting how close we live to Birmingham now. I'll be back well before now. So I will be here next week. As long as I've managed to get rid of the children by then.
Whereas I will be child-free. I was going to say in Lincolnshire, but I already live in Lincolnshire. It doesn't really, I'm going to be in a different part of Lincolnshire, getting drunk.
I mean, every part of that sounds
with
horrible.
different people. Yeah, I was going to say. Not
Get
at
out
home.
of Lincolnshire. You're allowed to cross the border. You don't have to stay there.
No, but I'm my mates basically looked through Airbnb for a place that would house us for a long weekend, and then when they offered the two choices that it come down to, one was a 6-hour drive and one was a 40-minute drive, and I thought, well, I'd kind of rather the 40-minute drive if I'm really honest. I could just, toddle out there at my leisure. And
get back for the podcast and then head back again.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, that is, maybe. I could just nip home. Just got to nip out for a minute, lads, and then just come back 2 hours later. I'm sure they wouldn't care.
You could do it while you're there.
I could talk into my phone, but that's probably about
thank
it.
you. We're not going to have your horrible audio quality.
The week after is Mrs. Sheepdog's birthday, and I did say to her, look, it's Pokemon release day. Maybe I could nip off and record at 8 and be done by 9. And, I'm trying to sweet talk her into it being okay. I'm sure it will be okay.
I'm trying to sweet talk her into making sure she doesn't let you do it so we can do what we did last year and do the comprehensive Pokemon review episode without you.
No.
Because let's face it, you won't have played it anyway because it's her birthday. If it comes out that day...
I'm thinking if I just say to her, I'm just going to nip to the loo, I'll be back in a second, and then I just sit in there having a 4-hour poo. As long as I have headphones in so she can't hear the game, I'll be laughing.
She'll think, goodness me, that was quick for him. Only 4 hours.
I see what she wants to do, because if she just wants to watch a film or something, I'll just play Pokemon while the film's on. Do you know what I mean? I'll be there in spirit, but not in mind or body. I don't know which part of you, but person the spirit is.
You literally will be there in body. That's the whole point. The opposite of what you said.
That'll work, yeah. Whichever, as long as that gets me through the game a little bit, and I'm able to review it. It's work I'm probably more worried about because I have to actually do my job on that day. But I finish at 4. I can get 3 hours in before the podcast while also doing birthday festivity stuff.
So while we're making our apologies for the next couple of weeks, just to let you know where we've been the last couple of weeks, because I think we said there'd be 1 week off. I don't think it was the first one. So I forget why we were off that week. I think it was just... Was that the week Football Manager came out? Oh, Pab was ill. Football Manager had just come out.
Yeah.
I went to bed because I'd been up like 3 days straight because Football Manager came out on the Tuesday, I think. Football Manager came out the Thursday, didn't it? So I'd had like 3 hours sleep, staying up, doing all my videos, and then Anna made me go to a soft play area with Sheepdog because we both had to blow off some steam. And then by the time I got home,
didn't we?
We did. We liked the soft play. But by the time we got home, we went to bed. Pab was ill, so we didn't do one then. And then last week, of course, was London Comic Con, which we should probably talk about briefly, or Sheepdog won't get a ticket next year.
I had a really good time. It was. It felt like, it felt good last time, but it felt like it was even bigger this time, didn't it? Like, other than
It's
Funko not being
almost
there,
back
it's pretty
to
much,
pre-convention. For me, the only things missing now are Funko and the wrestling figure man. Otherwise, everything else is back now. They even had some games and stuff there, which I don't think games have been back at Comic Con properly for a long time. We're probably going back several years to pre-pandemic times, but they had a big Sega presence there. So the Sonic Frontiers thing that had been at EGX was there, but Sega brought along more stuff than they took to EGX. So we had the Persona 5 photo opportunity that Pab made me do because he's a big Persona fan.
Yes, I made him do.
Exactly. Yeah. They had all sorts of other boring Sega things as well that weren't Persona, but the Persona thing was excellent.
It was quite interesting for me. They had a game for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a One Piece game, a Demon Souls game.
It seems they knew the event they were at almost.
Demon Slayer, sorry. I keep doing this. Demon Slayer. But yeah, it was cool to have all the different random animes, mangas that I've heard of had games there. It does make me... I keep meaning to message them and say, can I have a couple of codes for this? I'll play these. I'll wait for them to be on Game Pass. But no, they're just fighting games effectively, but based on the different animes. But yeah, you're right. It was nice seeing a big gaming area there. I still find it a little bit alarming that there hasn't been any Pokemon stuff. The game comes out in 14 days and they've not had a single booth at any of the events we've been to this year.
Yeah, Pokemon don't need to. It's the same as Football Manager. They don't need booths at these kind of events because they know people are going to buy them anyway.
But
it's
they
the
did.
games that are a little bit more fringe that they need to have stuff for.
But they had booths for Let's Go Eevee, for Gen 8, Gen 7. I'm pretty sure I've seen every gen that's been out at an event except this one, effectively. And that's just odd to me. I mean, part of me thinks, they kind of got panned last time, and it turned out to be a great game that I've completed like four or five times. But then the other side of me is a little bit nervous that they're not putting it out because... I don't know what to expect. I'm very nervous about next week. The week after, sorry, the 18th when it comes out. I really don't want this to be the gen that somehow breaks Pokemon. I don't think it will. It looks really cool, but I'm surprised they weren't there. But yeah, back to the convention. It was, I had a brilliant time. I had a really good weekend. We gallivanted around London, didn't we? We spent a lot of time in the event, I thought, as well. You know, we were in there pretty much till the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was back to the point where it takes a good 3 to 4 hours. I'm not sure how long we were in there on the Friday, Pab, before Sheepdog got there, but we basically did one lap and we were in there pretty much all afternoon. It was a long old walk going up and down every aisle, looking at everything that was there, getting Anna her potions and... Oh, it was very busy. I've never seen it that busy on a Friday before.
For a Friday, I thought it was quite
close to Saturday busyness. Friday lunchtime, it was bonkers. I can see why they've added the Friday to the Birmingham one, which is coming up next week, because they've not had the Friday on that before, but I can see why they're adding them on, because it seems like interesting Comic-Con is at an all-time high as people are getting giddy about getting back involved in all of these bits and bobs. But yeah, it was nice and busy. There was just a ridiculous quantity of nonsense there. Just a baffling quantity.
A lot of current shows as well. You know, again, last time I feel like was it last one or the one before where it was like they had a Harry Potter stand and bits like that, and you thought, well, this hasn't been out for a while. But this one had the new Lord of the Rings show. It had all sorts of random things like that. There was a big, obviously, Doctor Who presence because they've just done that big
Morris the Cat.
Maurice,
what is that? Is that like a new Sky thing?
It's a movie that's coming to cinemas and Sky Movies. Yeah, it's a Terry Pratchett book, I think.
All right.
Is that right?
I
think
know.
it is.
He's still churning him out from
Pratchett
Beyond
book.
the Grave?
I think he wrote the book before they made the movie, as is the convention.
I think he was there at the weekend.
What? Terry Pratchett?
No, who was there? There was somebody there who had a new book out. Who was there on that stage, the creator stage.
I mean,
Yeah,
Pratchett's
the
been
Amazing
dead for a
Morris
while,
is
Pab.
Terry Pratchett. Yeah.
I don't know who it wasn't. There was somebody there who was on there and went. I saw the book in Forbidden Planet. I went, oh, that's the fellow that was on the stage the other day.
I mean, if it was him, Pab, then Kev owes me an apology. But I think it probably wasn't really. If it was him, I mean, he needs to get cracking on Good Omens too, because that's being made at the moment, and I think he'd probably want to have an input on that. But anyway, no, we had a really good event for our panel, didn't we, as well?
Who's that you've got there with your Sheepdog?
that was the ring. I moved the ring and it made a noise.
Okay. And probably most exciting of all, we were upgraded to the 3rd biggest stage in the building for our panel. No longer are we hidden away in a dirty, smelly corner. We were right there in the middle of the show floor, massive TV screen behind us, filmed from, I reckon it was at least a 3-camera setup filming us.
That was
with
a
our own little preview screen, seeing who was being zoomed in on and all sorts. It was all very exciting.
I kept noticing how casually you and I sat in the chair, and every time it would like zoom in on us while we were chatting, I'd be like, right, I need to sit up straight. I'm sat here like I'm on Kev's sofa doing a podcast. Just
I was deliberately sat casually to make myself seem approachable and not better than everybody else, which obviously is what they would think if I sat up straight. I need to look like an everyman when I do these things.
I looked over my glasses at them and made sure my nose was slanted a certain way, just to make sure that they knew. No, it was absolutely brilliant. I was very impressed with the size of the crowd. The give and take, they come up and they queue to ask questions.
I would like to point out Comic Con, if you're listening, biggest audience that I saw all weekend. Again, I think it's time you put us in one of these big stages with a queuing system.
Love it.
We pull the numbers.
I hope they continue. I hope it continues to grow. It's been very cool to be involved in it and to just get people come up afterwards and ask us stuff. I said it before, I keep saying it. I love that kind of bit at the end where people go, yeah, I'm really glad I watched this. This was really powerful. I've learned a lot of stuff. Can you help me with this issue or that issue? It was interesting chatting to the crowd and like from the stage and then suddenly thinking, I recognise them. People like Connor had asked who came back, who's been here before, and there's a sizable amount of people that had been to one previously, and it was nice to be like, well, I recognise that one actually. I recognise them, and yeah, a few people I knew were there who I didn't know were at the event. They just happened to sneak into the crowd watchers and then come up and say hello afterwards. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, that was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to doing more.
So, all in all, big thumbs up for Comic Con. Anna, not able to make it again. She was skiving off at home, weren't you, Anna?
Skiving? Skiving?
To be fair, Anna did set us a task list. And I think
this is the new thing because Anna can't do conventions at the moment because she's got her injuries. You set us little tasks to do, don't you? Now,
apparently, I do.
Well, you do. I got a message from you as I walked into the convention. I said, "Pab, I've got the task," and he knew what I meant. We need to find her a glass apple.
It is quite funny how Kevin announced what we're looking for. And Pab is like a kid at Christmas. Like she wants a glass apple, and he's just got it in his head. He just looked well happy trying to figure that one out. And then I got into it. I think the enthusiasm of Pab being into it got me. Like we went to whatever shop it was. I think we went upstairs at Fortnum and Mason, didn't we? And
we did.
I saw
the Christmas decoration area.
It wasn't quite a glass apple, but I was like, this is an apple. And Kev's like sending pictures to Anna going, is this what you want? And it wasn't quite right. And yeah, it was just exciting suddenly thinking we'd cracked it. I like the Anna scavenger hunt. That should become a feature. We should make that a new thing we do. Even if you're there, you could just send us on the scavenger hunt. You can announce what we're looking for. And we'll have to
even when she's fit enough to come back again, she won't want to come out with us on the Saturday. We're too cool for Anna on the Saturdays. So she can set us the task for the Saturdays. But this one was pretty unachievable. Because it later emerged that it wasn't something she knew might be available somewhere. It's just something she'd seen on Bargain Hunt that day. It's like,
not even TikTok.
I mean, it was so pretty.
Oh my God!
I told you we should have been in the antiques fair.
Yeah.
It was quite modern. It wasn't like an old thing. It was only like £10 on the show. It's like, I like that. It's really nice. So
there must be some on Etsy, mustn't there? There must be a glass blower on there who do you a glass apple.
Getting it off the internet removes the thrill of the chase.
No,
Don't take our fun away.
We're home now, aren't we? So we have to just...
but when we're there in 3 years' time, just mooching around on a different scavenger hunt, and I hear Pab call from the other side of the shop, Kev, they've got a glass apple! We're all going to be so excited. So, we're not buying it on the internet.
I suppose she doesn't need it. It's, if it was something critical, then I guess it makes sense.
Just like those fluffy carrot things. They're
still ongoing.
Yeah, when we eventually find them, which we will, I'll buy one of each of them and just take a big sack of fluffy vegetables home for Anna. and she'll be delighted. But I'm not. I could go and buy them all on the internet. They have a website. Not bought one. Not going to buy one. They're part of the hunt.
But yeah, all in all, I would say that we've been spoilt this year with 3 excellent events. I'm very much impressed. I know that in the past I've always had a little bit of like, oh, it was good, except or whatever, but these were perfect. I've had a really good time every time, and yeah, very happy.
Hello.
I'm hoping. What were you going to say?
Hello, Sheepdog. You didn't like the ATMs.
No, I didn't dislike them.
You wasn't happy about it.
I'm
There's
sure all of
always
the
a
listeners
queue.
remember the stories from you. Oh no, it wasn't that. You don't get queues anymore because most places are card only. But trying to get Sheepdog to go to an ATM was like trying to get him to buy a DS in the Trafford Centre. All those years
Not
ago.
really. No,
Is it at
when
a
I got
£2.50
when I got
charge?
to the event, I
Oh no, I stick with him on that. I hate that.
Yeah, but
I
we
won't-
got there and he wanted to buy some art, but he didn't want to buy the art and then ruin the art. So we had to go to a different place that sold cardboard boxes to put it in, but they didn't take credit card. So we then had to go to the cash machine, but they charged £2.50. So then we had to go and get a coffee while he sat down and thought about it.
I didn't want to
And then
think
we went
about
back
it.
to the cash machine.
I got a bit unwell, not because of the cash machine. I just had arrived, and Kev, weirdly, I arrived and was like, right, I'm in. And Kev just was like, oh yeah, we saw you queuing. We thought they dismissed you. We thought they sent you away. And I was like, well, if you saw me, like, why didn't you wait for me? So I went looking for them.
Yeah, we waited for ages.
Waited.
We were stood
Kev
there
went
for
to
a
the
while.
toilet.
So...
I was stood there waiting
Well, I
for
didn't
you.
know that.
And then
I didn't know
I looked
that,
round and you'd gone. I was like, where's he gone?
Yeah, so Kev said we're getting ice cream. So I wandered around just thinking, well, I'll be back in a minute.
did,
And then...
Well, the reason we were outside is because we went out there looking for you because we thought you'd been sent away. So I had an ice cream when we were out there.
So I wandered around, and then when I met you, it was like I felt a bit like I'd been inconvenienced. I was feeling a little bit, not guilty, but just like, oh, this has been a bit of a faff, but it's all right. And then I was like, right, there's specifically someone I want to buy art from. There's a guy called Paul Draws Art. I think that's his name. He draws like a Pokemon
How
a
did
day.
you come up with that name?
Yeah, but he draws these really cool pictures where he starts with one Pokemon and he adds one a day until he's finished, and then it's a nice, cool art piece. And I went and bought 3 of them. But when I got there, I thought, I'm going to be carrying this around and my grubby mitts are going to ruin it. And while I was looking for you two, because weirdly, they didn't appear at the entrance, Anna, they texted me going, we're at the creator stage, which was the opposite end of the event. And they were just sat in the crowd waiting for a show to start. So by the time I got to them, I'd seen a guy selling these little cardboard, these little plastic containers that you slip your pictures into. But I hadn't kind of clicked in my head that I needed that. I went to buy from Paul, saw them and thought they're going to get wrecked. So I went to go back, but then when we got back, they were telling you can't buy them, and I just felt a little bit overwhelmed at that point. I think I was just like, this has been an ordeal, and I'm making it worse. So we went to the cash machine, and then it was like, okay, I don't know if I really... Like, I kept thinking to myself that I'm sure there's a free one out, like literally outside this door. If I buy it, I'm going to feel like an idiot if it's free, and then I just felt a little bit too overwhelmed, so I went and had a coffee. I was fine after that, but I paid the $2.50. It was all good.
Especially when Kev showed you the physical formation of £2.50.
Oh, Kev kept getting out £2.50 and waving at me like, "Look how much you're wasting."
Give it in.
Oh, it was just perfect that's how much cash I happened to have in my
Kevin.
pocket. Every time we went near the machine, I'd just wave at him and go, this is how much it's going to cost you.
You are
And then when I went
Kevin.
to pick which one I wanted as well of the wallet things to put the pictures in, and as I picked it up, Kev went, "You ain't stealing that, are you?" And the 2 blokes were like, "What's going on?" They immediately were like, "We'd have chased you if you had done." So yeah, that helped. But no, and then
I just like to mess with him. It's fun.
when I went to buy the pictures, the bloke who was Paul, who was sat at his desk, he knocked down. He had all these little pictures on these little art sign things, and they all fell down. And Kev's like, "What have you done now?" And it's like acting like I've made a mistake. And I'm there like tidying up for this guy and trying to be helpful. And Kev's like, "We can't take you anywhere." And I'm thinking, I literally did nothing. Like, I was helping the guy
He
out.
locked all his stuff everywhere. You're
Right,
a
we need
monster.
to mess with Kevin now. I give
Yeah,
you
we
permission
do.
to mess with Kevin.
No,
Kevin,
thank you.
that was horrible. That was mean.
I just like to mess with him.
Yeah, that's me, but you're messing with everyone at the moment. I give you permission to mess with Kevin.
It's getting
I'm
too
just
big
a
for his
rascal.
boots. Too
I'm
big
a
for his
rascal.
boots.
I just got described on stream by Zealand as gifted in the art of tomfoolery. That's how he described it, which I think is going to be my new Twitter bio. I am
Your
gifted in the
tactics.
art of tomfoolery.
slipping into games a little bit. I've not watched your battles with Zealand, but your tactics that I've seen you talk about. I mean, I was going to watch them. I just didn't get a chance to, and because I knew it'd be perfect. But like building cities and then giving them away as he approaches you, so that he has to declare war on much bigger enemies than you, is such a masterful civilization tactic. I'm surprised I've never thought of it. Like, bloody hell, that
it made him so angry.
Because it's just like, oh well, you can come through them by all means. I mean, it would have been hilarious.
Basically, me and him spawned right near each other on the map, and there was like this strip of land that was wide enough for 3 cities. So I settled all 3 of those because he didn't find me straight away. So by the time he kind of got to the edge of my area, I'd built this strip of 3 cities across there. He had a much stronger military than me because he was busy doing science and military research while I was just building settlers and builders and stuff and settling all these cities. But rather than giving them away just as he was getting close, I was letting him get to the point where he would battle them and break down the walls and get to the point where he was like 1 turn away from taking the city. Then I'd give him to a different civ. And before I did that, I'd name them something. Like, it would be named Zealand is a turd. And then I'd give it away to another civ who he wasn't at war with. So then the only way he could get to my capital was to declare war on these other civs to get to me, which obviously would then result in his butthole being handed to him. And he just got so cross. He was so cross about it. It was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I'm gifted in the art of tomfoolery.
Did you have to check that he didn't have an agreement with them to walk through their land? Because isn't that something you can get?
You can, but because he set the game up so that it was on just the base game rather than with any of the DLCs, none of the diplomatic stuff was on there, so it wasn't an option.
Gutted. That was my first thought, that was risky. Like, you must have known, and I was wondering how you knew, having played Civ.
Plus,
didn't know.
I had alliances with everybody as well. Everyone else on the continent was my friend. While he's there building up his military, because he's always coming straight for me, I'm there making friends with everybody and getting to the point where everyone loves Kev, everyone's on my side, and just making his life difficult for him. So despite the fact that if he'd have got anywhere near my capital, he'd have dominated me, he never got anywhere near my capital because he couldn't get through these other cities. And then on today's one, we played a different game, a different Civ save, where again, it spawned us right near each other. I don't know if this is a thing on Civ 6, when there's 2 of you playing in multiplayer. We had 8 AI Civs loaded, but both times we've done this, it spawned us right next to each other. So that's annoying because we'd rather like be apart and then find each other later and have a bit of a war. But on the one today, he was again really focused on coming for me because all he wants to do is beat me. He needs to find something he can beat me at. He already knows that I'm taller than him. I'm better than him at Football Manager. He needs to beat me at something. And so he was gearing himself up for a war with me, and the AI just came round the back and took his capital from one of the. So he then had to take back his own capital while I'm building all mine up and getting all mine ready for war and everything again. So he's taking back his own capital and then decided to go and wipe out this AI before coming for me, but couldn't beat them because they were further ahead of him on the tech tree because he'd been so focused on military. So he gave up and was like, oh, don't worry, Kev, I'm not coming for you. But he's got this massive military that basically has to walk past me to come back. I knew full well war was coming. So I'm there building walls, building defensive units. Little does he know my military's just as strong as his. And then he finally declares war on me, takes one of my cities near his border. But it's nearer to my capital than to any of his other cities for some reason. It's because he was going to make a beeline for my capital. So rather than doing it the sensible way on Civ 6, because we've now got all the DLC loaded, so loyalty is a big thing. So because there was a big gap between his civilization and the city that he took, as soon as he took the city, the clock started ticking for them to rebel and rejoin me because they were still loyal to me because they were nearer to my capital. But he didn't realise that, so he took that city and then started back towards himself and took another one of my cities rather than coming straight for my capital because my capital was too well defended. And by the time he took the second one of my cities, the first one rebelled, became independent, and so he turned back around again, started attacking it, bombarding it to try and take it a second time. And as he broke the walls down to absolutely nothing again, I just swooped in and retook my own city. And yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's happening.
It's exactly right. Ring has got lots to say about this. So then he was very cross at that point because I've regained one of my cities. So he then went back to my other one that he'd taken that was about to rebel as well. And when it did rebel, rather than him trying to recapture it, he just destroyed it and then declared peace with me. So by the time he'd got to the point where we stopped for the evening, we're at peace. So he can't declare war on me again for another 30 turns, I think it is. Of the 2 cities of mine that he took, one I've got back again, the other one he's destroyed, and I've got a settler 2 turns away from plonking a new city back down on the gap that he's vacated, and he can't do anything to stop it because he can't attack me for 30 turns. So all that effort, we were playing for 4 hours. He's basically at the point where all he's done is put himself in the position again for the second game in a row where there's no way he can win. He's just dedicated himself to coming for me, can't take me, and we're like the bottom 2 on the score chart. And also all of this is going on, I'm halfway to a diplomatic victory and he hasn't even realised yet because, again, I'm making friends with everyone else around the other side. I've got loads of money that I've been building up and I'm just bribing everyone for diplomatic victory points. So fingers crossed he comes at me again with his military and I'll just slap a diplomatic victory in his face and he'll be fuming. But yeah, I've never played multiplayer Civ before. Done it a couple of times this week, having lots of fun with it. It's particularly fun that it's allowing me another way to mess with Zealand. There was a moment this
what sort of game it is. Like he's going for that gung ho.
Oh yeah, he's definitely coming at me trying to do war, and it's for me. I never do war really in Civ. The times I could count on one hand. I've been playing Civ for like 20 years. I could count on one hand the amount of domination victories I've ever had. It's such a ball ache victory type because you have to go and take everybody's capital. And there's not a chance he's getting my capital, never mind anyone else's. So it always makes sense to go for the other victories, but he's cut himself off from all the other victories. His only chance is military. He's got 125 turns left to take 9 capitals, and it just isn't going to happen. But it's, it is fun. It's a different kind of game playing it multiplayer, and just like with Football Manager, I'm coming up with all these little cheesy nonsense techniques that no one's thought of that are just purely designed to mess with Zealand, and it just makes him so cross, which in turn makes me so happy. So, it's glorious. But there was a point this evening where, bearing in mind we're still in the thick of the FM23 beta, which we haven't even talked about yet, me and him were playing Civ and Dr. Benji was playing GeoGuessr, and it's like, it sends a pretty strong message to Football Manager that FM23 perhaps hasn't excited everybody the way they hoped it would, because lots of us, even though it's still in the beta, are already off playing other things again, because FM23 is basically the same game as FM22. It's lots of fun. It's very good, but it's not really massively different, which is it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all.
I'm looking forward to that coming out on the 8th. That's when it's out, isn't it? 4 days' time. 3 days' time for the listeners. And I'm looking forward to having a crack at it, playing it for a bit. My plan is basically to play it for 10 days until Pokemon comes out and then be like, although I'm kind of stuck on that because I streamed Legends Arceus and everyone was like, oh, I'm not as far as you, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to watch, sorry, I'm going to go and play it
that's the thing with story games, you can't really play them when they first come out because people won't want to watch.
So I'm tempted to just crack on with Football Manager while I play it and then do a Gen 9 stream afterwards. I might discuss that offline and figure it out. But it's an exciting time for sure because there's lots of games coming out now, isn't there? I know Anna said she's got lots coming up, but just for me, I haven't touched Sonic. I'm going to just get it for Christmas and play it. But I've got Pokemon there, got Football Manager there. There's some stuff coming up on Game Pass, and I was like, oh god, that's coming as well. I'm trying to think what it was now. I know that my kids are excited about Hello Neighbor 2. That's coming up on Game
Simulator
Pass.
3.
Is that coming as well? God, Ollie's going to be busy.
17th.
Wow.
It's already on Andy's lips every day. I'm like, in 2 weeks, 2 weeks' time.
God, good times. It sounds excellent.
Just nipping back round to Football Manager just for a second. I'm not going to talk about it loads here. If you want my in-depth thoughts on FM23, because we haven't talked about it on the podcast at all, obviously I've got absolutely loads on the YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitch, or the best place. We did an 80-minute long roundtable discussion on Dr. Benji's YouTube channel. Me, Ben, Work to Space, Sealand, just chatting about the new game for 80 minutes. It was very well received. I think it's already over 100,000 views. Go watch that, because we've never done anything like that before. We've never felt the need to do anything like that before. But this year, for all the reasons we outline in that, it needed to be done, and it's well worth a watch if you are wondering what my in-depth thoughts on FM23 are. If you just sat here desperate to buy it, of course, there is a link that Pab will put in the description of this podcast as well, where you can buy it at a discount. And it's a bottom line, the very quick summary, it's still the best Football Manager game they've ever made. It's just not massively different from last year's, but it is still the best one. There was, I think the review that was in IGN was something along the lines of, not really much of an upgrade on FM22. Graphics still a bit lacking. Doesn't feel like there's a lot new to it. 9 out of 10, which is like really critical words, and then they still give it a 9 out of 10 because it is still Football Manager. It is still great. It's just, if you've got FM22, it's not necessarily something you need to rush out and upgrade to. I'd probably use your 30 quid to buy Game Pass rather than buying the game itself, because then you get access to it for the year, but only for the year, because FM22 disappears off Game Pass on the 7th and FM23 appears on the 8th. So if you have got an FM22 save, you want to get finished, you want to crack on with that this weekend, because that game is disappearing. You won't be able to play it again once FM23 drops on Game Pass. Oh, then you're not worrying about Game Pass, are you?
Oh, okay.
The Game Pass version is disappearing when the new one comes out. But yeah, that's that. Let's do an advert, and then you lot can flap your gums for a bit. Pab, round of applause. Great advert. Sheepdog, speak.
Yeah, I have played a few games since we last spoke, and none of them new, but I completed Guardians of the Galaxy. I mentioned to Pab when we were away that it was interesting. You said to me, "Oh, it outstays its welcome," and I was like, I played it, completed it, and was like, "Well, it didn't seem to," and then it caught me out a bit because it
just felt like there was just a lot of false endings. It felt like it was ending, and it just went another chapter. You're like, oh
yeah, no,
and then you did it again, and you did it again.
I literally
like,
put a tweet out going, "I've completed it," and then it was a false ending. Not really a spoiler, but it was like I thought I'd done it, and then I was like, "Oh, I haven't." Whoops! Deleted the tweet. Thought that must be what Pab meant, but I didn't feel like it had outstayed anything. I just get what you meant. You weren't critical of it. You were just saying it had that bit to it. I love that. I'm really hoping that I'll hear news of a sequel being made or something. I don't know what the score is on this. I feel like it's definitely not. What, really?
Yeah.
Why have they said that?
Square Enix had a 2-game deal with Marvel. They undersold on the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, so they ain't getting another thing for it.
Oh, that was so good. It was such a fun game.
You have to just wait for EA to start putting games out, because they've got a free game deal now. So
great. I haven't played an EA game in ages, I don't think.
It might be good.
Might be. Maybe they'll. I don't know. Just
was it Wolverine next? Is that what they're doing?
No, that's
not from EA. But
that's Insomniac making that one.
Oh, okay.
The EA one, first one's going to be an Iron Man game. The second one is the Captain America and Black Panther game, and then the third one is unannounced as of yet, I think.
Oh, right. So, I thought you meant EA were making a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Sorry.
Oh, no. EA just got a Marvel license. So, yeah, well, Guardians ain't happening again. It's just a shame.
Everyone go out and buy it. Go and get it. I bought this. I loved it. It's on Game Pass as well, isn't it?
It's on Game Pass, I think it was. I don't know if it still is.
Everyone go play it. Let's make this the new Morbius, where everyone goes so nuts over it they have to bring it back out of spite or whatever they did with that. I haven't seen that, so I don't really know what the score is there. But this game is fantastic. I really, really loved it. It was very, very good. I loved all the features to it. It's very clever. I love the characters. I just feel like it's a shame they're not planning on even doing any more Guardians films after this next one, are they? So it's like I'm just a bit disappointed, because I really, really enjoy them. I'm going to have to go read all the comics and become a fan of reading them, which I haven't really read their comics that much, actually, thinking about it. So they'll live on, but I hope we get more games. I enjoyed the Telltale game they did, where that was quite cool. That had a lot of funniness to it. You're trying to flog Thanos' corpse at the start of that game because you've killed him, and you want to make some money so you can buy a beer. It's like, that's just random and silly. But yeah, this was very cool. I was very glad that I'd finished it. I keep meaning to go because I put on Twitter that I don't know what else to play now, and someone reminded me that I'd literally bought Cyberpunk and I haven't even started it. So that is something I do need to do. It's on my list in my head, and I'm like, okay, maybe that, because Guardians was the game that I fired up on like a Sunday afternoon and just played while everyone was, like, my wife would be watching the football, the kids would be upstairs, and I'd just sit in the other room playing the game for 4 hours. And maybe Cyberpunk will be that game. I don't know. I don't really know if I like the look of it. I'm kind of, I don't know, we'll see. One thing I kept teasing about playing and didn't get back into, I kept talking about playing it as a stream, but then other things would get voted for. But I played it in the past, and I wanted to have another crack at Crusader Kings 3. So I streamed that the other day, and I think, we had a fun time. I'm planning on streaming it on Sunday again. But what I want to talk about it on the podcast, because I know Kev really got into this briefly when it came out, and I'm not very good at it, and I don't really get it.
There is no being good at it. That's the point.
But
it's a story generator. There's no way to win, or it doesn't matter at what point your people die out or whether you take over the stuff or not. The whole point is it's about the story that's created along the way.
So it's not feasible for me to just take over.
You're not going to take over. You're not going to take over the whole world and keep it running forever. No.
Interesting, because I started it up and I just thought, okay, there's a war going on in Scotland. I should probably try and take over Ireland and Scotland and see if I can rule the UK. And I think, without realizing, I lost half my land, and then I noticed I was running out of money. My army was a bit expensive and I was in debt. So I tried to disband my army to bring them home, but disbanding my army meant that I surrendered in 3 wars I didn't even know I was in. And so that meant I lost more land. I didn't have any money. And the King of Scotland had kind of taken over the whole of Scotland at that point, or the King of Alba, sorry. And I was just left with, I think, the Isle of Man and a little bit of Ireland. And I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So then I just sort of sped the game up a bit and was just answering the questions that came up. And I killed the Queen of Scotland. I went and killed his missus. And I was just sending hits out on people, basically, left and right, and marrying people to other people. But is that it? And it is just a story generator. There's no real drive to... I guess you probably can take over Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, I think in all the times I've played it, I managed to unite the whole of Ireland once. And as soon as that generation died, it just got split up again amongst the kids because of the way the hereditary stuff worked. So I had 4 kids, so it just chopped Ireland back up into 4 again. It's like, no!
So you need to, before you die, you need to mysteriously kill all your children and leave it to one of them.
Kill 3, kill all but one of them, yeah. But then, of course, you run the risk that someone else kills the one that's left. And yeah, it's just all about the stories that develop along the way. That's the whole point of it.
Cool, okay. Because people enjoyed the stream. We had a good chat about it. We had a lot of laughs. There was a lot of funny things that occurred. Just random bits, and pieces along the way. I was playing a guy that, after I picked him, realised his name was the Boneless, and it was because he had one leg. He'd lost a leg in a battle or something. And it just seemed to constantly be picking things like sending him to dance with his wife. And I'm like, I had a choice between dancing or not dancing. And I was like, well, I don't know, is this going to work for him? Is the game wise enough to know that I've been drinking and I've only got one leg and it's going to be difficult? It was making me second guess how clever the game was then. And it was fine. I danced. It was all good. But I'm sat there thinking, how you play Football Manager and you're thinking through things realistically. Am I living close to it? Would I afford this? Blah, blah, blah. I was thinking like that, and that was just quite fun, creating a bit of a story. And I realised eventually I could name the children. I was just picking the names it suggested at first. But yeah, I might do a little bit of reading to see what more I could be doing, because I discovered a load of buttons that I didn't use at all right as we were getting to the end of the stream. And I thought, okay, I could probably start using them. I've always been nervous of upsetting people if I was too murderous and things like that, sending out hits on people or bribing people. The other times I played it, I've tried to be a bit more clean. But actually, it seems like that's a lot of the game, isn't it? Sending out a hit or having a little subterfuge or discovering a secret and using it against them. Or I kept second guessing whether to have multiple mistresses and stuff like that. It kept suggesting I didn't have enough concubines, and I was like, well, I would have thought that would upset my wife, but she seemed very happy that she didn't have to deal with all of that. Her love for me was in the excess of 100, I think, or at 100, whatever the limit was, which was standard, good.
She
Standard
loves it
Sheepdog
when you
life.
stay away from her.
This is it. But no, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And I'll be playing that again on Sunday. I know I've been talking about Disney Dreamlight on the stream. They did an update. They added in Scar from The Lion King. That was very fun. You get to sort of. We already had the Pride Lands unlocked, so it added a mine to the area that you had to go in and mine these crystals. You had to help Scar get rid of all the wildebeest corpses that he's mounted up there and help him clean up the valley a bit and that kind of thing. The game's been really fun, and Ben's really into it. He comes home, he's like, I want to play my game, let's put the game on, and he gets really obsessed with wanting to play his game. And we've enjoyed it, but I think today was the first time it started to wane a little bit, because there's not a content update due imminently, because we've just had one. We have one character left to unlock, which is Prince Eric. But to unlock Prince Eric, you need to get Ursula to level 10. But weirdly, I feel like this is such a... I think they've done it on purpose to force people to play the game for longer, but it feels really cynical and annoying. Ursula and Remy from Ratatouille sleep if you're playing the game past 6 o'clock. And because I finish work at 5, and I'm not just jump... Well, it must be 5 o'clock, actually, because I finish work. I don't always jump straight on. But say I'm on by 5:30, Remy and Ursula are asleep in their respective houses, and we can't progress the game to unlock Prince Eric because you need Ursula to be level 10. The only other quest we've really got going on is a mermaid quest where she wants you to get things from people's houses, and Remy's got this whisk that she wants, so I can't progress her. So we've just been going around doing all the level 10 missions for each of the characters, but they're really long-winded, like go and find 100 hard sticks on the floor, and 5 of them spawn in an area. So I was walking around in circles for about an hour and a half picking up sticks, and obviously Ben wasn't particularly enjoying it. So yeah, they're going to have to do an update soon, I think, to keep, because other people will have played this game or done it better or already be at this point. We're going to get up tomorrow in the morning and do whatever we need to do to make sure Ursula's got whatever she needs to give us this level 10. Because she's one of the hardest characters to level up, because everyone else you can have wander behind you, where she only appears in water, she doesn't follow you. So you have to give her things and do her favors and stuff. So that's going to take time. We're going to do that tomorrow. Once she's done, we've unlocked the final character, and there's nothing for us to do until the next lot's out. So I'm sort of scouring through Game Pass, trying to find more games for Ben to play, because he's going through a real, I like gaming. Game's really cool, but I don't know. We'll see what's there. And I think, other than Words with Friends 2, that's the only other game I've been playing, I think, and that is ridiculously full of spam. I'm so shocked that is a mobile game.
How is there a
play.
Words with Friends 2? How is it different from Words with Friends?
Can
I
I just
don't know.
interject?
Go on.
Sheepdog. Disneyland Adventures is good.
That's the one where you wander around the actual park, isn't it?
Yeah,
saw
you
that
play
earlier.
mini games instead of like the ride. Some of them are mini games, so you go in there and collect stuff, and you collect autographs, and you open areas. So maybe that's
I might get in that. That's a really good shout. I'll get that tonight. I did. I tried Costume Quest, but it involved reading. I got him a couple of other games. I can't.
Oh yeah,
think of
that's
the
not
names
for
now.
children.
Is it
Costume
not?
Quest.
It's bloody hell!
It is.
All right.
But it's got dark themes in it sometimes.
Oh, okay.
If it's not great on like scary things.
I mean, he's a menace, but
okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what the other game we got him was. I know I got Tetris Effect because I saw it there. That wasn't for him. Although I was going to try and get him to play it just to keep him busy, but it was just in the queue in the end. I saw it there and thought, I haven't played that in ages. I want to play Tetris. But no, he's all right. He'll be fine. I mean, there's games coming out that he'll probably have a crack on. It's fun having him really into it, although he does constantly ask me when they're adding Stitch into Dreamlight Valley, and I'm getting sick of being asked like the repetitive questions about this game. Oh God. I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, my Xbox is broken. Oliver tried to shove a disc in it, and it just got chewed up or something. I don't know. There's like meant to be a hole on the side of the Xbox that you can poke a paperclip into, and it'll force whatever out of the disk drive. But that's not happening. So now my Xbox just sits there going.
Put it upside down and then try it.
Yeah, I'll try it over the weekend again. I was planning on maybe opening it up and seeing what I could do, but I figure me opening it's probably going to ruin the whole console. And I know that's quite a good excuse to get a new one and that kind of thing, but I'd quite like to salvage this one so that Ollie can maybe have it in his room. That's my long-term thought process. I'm thinking maybe within a couple of months I'll get, I don't know what the stocks are like or anything like that, but
well, if you get the new white one, it doesn't have a disk drive on it, so there'll be none of that happening anymore.
Well, that's it. No, I don't even mind that really, because we only ever download games now really on the Xbox. It's more of a box for watching Sky and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably get a digital one, but yeah, I'd like to repair it or figure it out. And I've tried. I did take it all out and shake it about and poke this thing in it, and I even tried to give it the Sheepdog punch. It didn't work. It's the first time that punch has ever failed to fix the problem. I might try it again tomorrow, because actually that'll probably be the answer now I've said it. Just give it a proper punch in a proper position. I just gave it a cheeky one when I was frustrated. I thought, I haven't tried the old tap yet, and but I think I probably didn't do it right. But I'm sure we'll get it just right and it'll work. But yeah, that's all the stuff that I can think of. I think I've forgotten something, so if I interject later, I will. But if I don't, I've forgotten. But yeah, you two can do your bits now.
I'm coming back in. I don't care. I'm coming back in. I forgot to talk about Persona. Can you believe it? I didn't mention Persona 5. Persona 5 Royal came out on everything. So I got it on Steam Deck, and it is glorious. I've done about 10 hours probably, and it runs absolutely perfectly. It looks beautiful. It doesn't drain the battery the way some of the other bigger games that have been on there do. I've always maintained handheld is the perfect way to play Persona, and Persona 5 Royal runs beautifully on the Steam Deck, and it's just my go-to every night when I go to bed. Play an hour of this, and it's lovely. It's everything I ever wanted. I imagine it's just as good on the Switch as well. Just get it, boys and girls. If you haven't played Persona 5 yet, you're a buffoon, but now is your opportunity to correct your previous buffoonery. Go get it while the getting is good. Get it played, because Persona 3 and Persona 4 remaster versions are coming out early next year. So you want to get in now, get it played. You won't regret it. It's perfect. Go and play Persona 5 Royal. Do it now.
Yeah, they know how to charge for it though, don't they, on the Switch?
Don't know how much it is.
It's like $59.
Oh, it's worth every penny. I'd pay double that for it. I have. I mean, I've spent over £200 on Persona 5 now, I should think, because I got the special edition when it first came out, the special edition when Royal came out on PS5, and I've now bought it on Steam. And you know what? I probably will buy it on Switch as well once I've finished it on the Steam Deck, because it's just the perfect game. Considering I'm the person who doesn't replay games and doesn't like long games, this is a 100-hour game that I'm now playing through for the third time.
I suspect this is possibly your favourite game.
Oh, yeah. I think it probably is.
Above Football Manager, though.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I've described it as that multiple times recently. Love Persona. If I could get away with... I mean, if they released one of these every year and I could get away with milking it for an entire year, I would happily make the switch. I'd jump over. But considering they've released 3 games in the last 15 years, I think I'll just have to accept that this is just something I enjoy doing in my spare time. Especially because they're such wangs about letting you stream it as well.
Why aren't you going to Comic Con dressed as a character from it, though?
Because I'm 40 years old and fat, Sheepdog.
Yeah, there must be a fat character in it.
It's a Japanese game. Of course there's no fat characters in it. They're all 15 and they're all thin. Have you ever seen anything Japanese?
I've seen lots of Japanese things. They always have big characters.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Not on Persona, they don't.
Well, just go as a middle-aged version. That could be your shtick. You could be, I'm that character, 25 years from now.
I forgot the key part. I'm not a weirdo. I don't want to go in fancy dress.
You should, though. It would suit you.
Oh, you should go in fancy dress then.
I will if you do. I said to him last week at Comic Con, I said if he goes as a slutty cheerleader on stage during our panel talk, he can pick literally any costume for me to wear on stage with him.
I pick Olympic swimmer.
Oh, what?
You bottled it at the time.
Olympic swimmer. I just want him in Speedo, one of those little hats and a pair of goggles.
But we had a deal. Where whatever you picked, I was going to go for.
You proposed that on Saturday night. Where was I going to get a cheerleader's outfit overnight?
It was Saturday morning as we were leaving. It was Friday night because we were going.
There was still no way I was going to get a cheerleader's outfit on that short notice.
We went into central London where all of the sweet shops have become Halloween costume shops. That was literally the conversation. You were like,
and they don't sell them in my size.
That was your excuse, but you never looked. So
Because I've been in shops before. I can't buy normal clothes in shops. I'm not going to be able to buy a fancy dress.
Mr. I love a scavenger hunt, me. Oh, I love scavenger hunts. Doesn't want to go on one to find a slightly cheerleader outfit for himself, though.
Right, I will buy a cheerleader outfit and a pair of Speedos, and then the next time we do the panel...
You've lost your chance now.
Oh, there you go. See, he's a coward.
Mister, I wouldn't buy it on the internet. It has to be part of the, hunt.
That doesn't apply to costumes.
Well,
I'll make my own and then make you some Speedos.
It's also not Halloween anymore, which means we would just look
weird. It will
weird.
be next year.
Well, maybe I'll make the offer again next year, and you can whip out your costume.
I'll get the Speedos ready for you.
Go for it. I'd have spent more time hunting for someone to wax me, so I could go on stage as a proper swimmer.
I'll wax you. Don't worry.
Okay, deal.
Excellent.
You have to do a good job, though.
I promise you, you will know you've been waxed.
I have a reasonably high pain threshold. I reckon I'll be okay.
I am doing your scrotum as well.
No. No.
You know when you go to respond and then you're like, no, I'm not Kev. I'm not going to say something like that on the podcast. We'll leave it there.
Manscaped sponsorship incoming. I'll even let you have some of my powder on there after you're done to make sure they don't stick to your legs.
I'm not as old as you, Kevin.
You will be next year.
No, I won't.
You age quicker than me.
I'm younger than Anna.
That's true.
I find that very hard to believe. I've seen you both.
But yeah, weren't
we don't. Do you like not saying anything now?
I was still trying to work out what you were saying. Have you finished?
Yeah. I'm having a peppermint now.
What, with your 4 teaspoons of sugar in?
2.
You were telling me about this. He's basically eating sugar lumps with a little bit of pepper with mint.
Like a pony.
Yeah.
I thought of you. I was eating. My wife got cola cubes and pineapple cube sweets out, and I was eating one. And I'd eaten about 9 of them, and then I thought, these are just sugar lumps. I'm turning into Kev. No. Oh God. But yeah, games. Have you played games?
Sugar. Bits that I can't get into anything because of next week. Everything I play, I'm like, I don't want to play this. I want to play God of War, which is not out till next week. Though my pre-order has gone down in price and is now in the warehouse, so that's promising me. I get it a day early. I'll be beside myself if I do, because it's the same day that Football Manager comes out, so Andrew needs to fend for himself. That's a joke, obviously. That's a joke.
I don't see the joke. I'm hearing a fact.
I will pause it and make him dinner, but yeah, if that comes out, if I get it on the same day.
Order him a takeaway the night before on Just Eat and it'll arrive.
Yeah, but he has a very, very strict diet, Andy does, so you can't get them on delivery.
That's a really good point.
But yeah, it's a joke, everybody. It's a joke.
No, it wasn't.
But I got Gotham Knights. I played it for a day.
Tell me.
Yeah. So it's set in Gotham, but it's not the Gotham you know. It's not Batman.
Not the one in Nottinghamshire.
It's not the Batman Gotham that we all know and love. It's not the Arkham Gotham by a long shot. Like I was going around it.
You made it very clear on the last podcast it was.
No, I was saying it was a Batman game, and it had Batman in it. And I was just saying it had them people's names in it. I wasn't saying it was that. Anyway, we won't get on to it. But like the very first, like the cutscene at the start, excellent. I'd make everyone go and watch that. Excellent cutscene. Like the opening, it was great. Kevin would love it. Like anyone who likes comics would love it. It was great. It explained little bits what was happening, but I don't understand the Batman universe, so I was like, who are these people? Why are they fighting? Like this, like so that happens. Batman is dead. That is the whole premise of this game. Batman is dead. That happens within like the first 10 minutes of the cutscene is very long. Batman's dead. So you have 4, I don't even know what they're called, understudies, his friends, his sidekicks. So you have, you have dead Kevin, help
Robin.
me. You have Robin, Batgirl,
Nightwing, and Red Hood.
Right, yes, Red Hood. So you have them 4 people. Now, they have names that I didn't... Like, I only know 2 of them. I know who Batgirl is, who is Oracle, but in the Arkham series, she is in a wheelchair. She is not in... So I don't know if this is a different universe, if they've gone back in time. I don't know. She
gets better, I think. She gets better. She gets out of the wheelchair at some point. I think that sounds right.
Okay, so she's in it. I know who Robin is because he... No. I know who... I think it was Robin who was in
Nightwing
the Arkham...
Nightwing is Dick Grayson.
Yes, so I know who he is. He was like that
acrobatic. Red Hood
and
is
then
in there
there's
as well. Jason
Todd,
yeah.
Don't know who he is. Couldn't tell you anything.
He was the Arkham Knight, wasn't he?
Possibly. I never finished it.
I can't remember now. No, because he was the Red Hood. He's always the Red Hood, isn't he?
Yeah, all right.
But apparently he was what by...
Is Damien in it?
No, it's Tim. Is it Tim Drake? Is Tim Drake as
so...
Robin?
See what I mean? There's so many different people in the Batman universe.
He's been going a while. He's just,
If you're aware of the universe, so you would know who they are. I knew all of them. I know who they are. Not extensively, but I get a gist of it. If you're not in that sort of DC Batman world, there's a good chance you wouldn't know a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, very, very brief summary is Dick Grayson was the first one. He grows up, becomes Nightwing, and doesn't really like Batman's approach.
They're all former Robins.
Jason gets killed by the Joker, so then Tim Drake comes in. Then it turns out Jason's not dead. He's Red Hood, blah, blah, blah.
Because he's brought back by the Lazarus Project. I worked that out.
Yeah, and then when Tim Drake grows out of it, Damian Wayne's his son. Which I'm surprised that Batman's dead, but his son's not in it yet.
Well, it's not. That's not part of that continuity. I don't think.
I like Damien though, because he's like a genius assassin kid who's just a little bit.
I feel like that's more recent though, even in the comic book stuff, in the grand scheme.
Yeah,
of things.
Relatively. I mean, I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed their comics because it was like Batman's son was this genius assassin ninja person, and then Superman's son was this naive, soppy kid who could be nuked in the face and he'd be fine. And they were just a little duo that hung out together, and Damien somehow was the alpha in that situation. And it's like, how is he the alpha when he's got a super kid he can't hurt as his best friend? It was very fun. I enjoyed that a lot. So I liked seeing Damien. He's a cool character. But I don't think there's any others, is there? I know in the very, very, very current stuff, there's another character who they were gearing up to take over from Batman, weren't they? I can't remember their name now. And there's Batwoman as well, a Batgirl as well. Sorry, I don't think Batwoman's in this game, is she?
No, it's Batgirl.
I mean, there is a spoiler for you. There is another character that you don't play as, but... No, I don't know. I'm just going to say Alfred's in it.
He's in it. Yeah.
Alfred's in it, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the main... He's like he's not Batman, but he's like, you go to him for all your some of your missions and stuff like that, because obviously he knows the backstory of the villains. So honestly, I started playing it. I played each of the characters. They all have a different fighting style. So you've got Batgirl, who's quite fast and has what did she have?
I feel like she's stealthy.
Yes, she's like stealthy, and she can take out like cameras and stuff with her batarangs or whatever. I didn't like that as much because even though she's stealthy, some of the bits can't be stealth. So I didn't like that. What's his name? Red Hood. He's got guns, so he's more like head in, shoot everyone, and then ask questions later. So he was all right, but again, I didn't know how the game worked as it like the level up, so I was getting quite frustrated with it. And the game only gives you power up if you obviously you have to grind in this game, which at first didn't bug me, but it got repetitive when it was the same places you had to go and clear out, and the same objective in these set pieces that you had to do, and like it just got. But like I did this one gang hideout like 4 times, and it's always the same enemies and the same layout, and it just got a bit repetitive. But you have to do that to level up in the game, which obviously gets annoying. Robin, I like his because you can make a decoy of yourself, jump behind the enemy, and your decoy blows up and obviously damages the enemies. And then there's Nightwing, who has sticks.
He does.
He has
That
some
is
sticks.
basically his power. Yeah, they do lightning stuff. He can electrocute people. with them.
Yes, but again, you have to level all that up.
He's basically
and...
Daredevil with eyes, isn't he?
Yeah. He has.
Sight, I mean.
He has sticks. Which is fine. Like he's quite fast. And again, you have to get like I saw his like top level up with his lightning sticks, and I was like, yes, I want to play that. And I looked at the thing. I was like, oh, that's going to take a while. It means I'm going to have to do these boss fights out and these people that need help just a bit more. But so yeah, like you've got Gotham. Obviously, it's a big map. It's not small. You've got like 3 main islands, and there's some offshoots on each of them. So obviously you go around. You cannot glide or off like in air contests. You
Run,
can't,
but you can't glide.
Yeah, you can. You've got your hook thing that you can
Yeah, you
hook
got like
onto.
a grapple hook, yeah.
Yeah, but you cannot glide like Batman, and I miss that. Even though like Batgirl's got a I think they've 3 of them have got like capes, but none of them glide, which is annoying because I love gliding in Batman. So it's hit and miss with the grappling hook. Like you think you're going forward, and then you shoot up off the screen to the top of under a tower that's bigger than you, and that's annoying when you're trying to get somewhere. You do have a bike. The bike's fine. The bike just like, yes, you get to A to B, but there's no traffic. The world seems very empty. Like you just get on your bike, off you go. You get there within like a minute or so.
Maybe it's set in the COVID lockdowns.
Maybe there's not like there is timed.
Batman died of COVID.
There's timed like mechanics, and you got like a minute and 2 minutes, and you get there with like a minute left on the clock. There's no sense of urgency to it. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh yeah, get this thing, go over.
How annoyed would you be if you got stuck behind a car at a traffic light though, when you had 2 minutes to get there?
But it's a bike.
No,
you can go
bang on.
anywhere.
They achieved it with the Arkham games, didn't they? They had traffic in that. They had believable living. I was going to ask you: is it? Does it feel anything like the Arkham or a game like Spider-Man? No, nowhere near that.
No, unfortunately,
it's a different combat system, which seems to be more like it has a little tiny bit of it, but not. It feels different because it's like combo. You do more combos than you are just button mashing. I don't feel like I feel like you could kind of get away with just button mashing a little bit in the Arkham series and perform some pretty cool moves. This one, it's like this button, and then this button, and or throw a direction in there as well to do something else, and you've got to build up like a meter to then do specials. Yeah.
It feels like a knockoff, like with the movement without the bike. Feels like a really bad Spider-Man. Like you want to propel from one to the other, and it just like snaps you to the building, and then you're just on this building, and then you have to wait for your character to run, and it's a bit like you just want it to go.
But for me, with like the abilities and stuff, where you have to like press a button and open and like select something on a D-pad, was it, or something like that? I feel like you had to do that. Reminded me a little bit. They took that from Assassin's Creed, when
Yes, yeah.
you had abilities on D-pads, didn't you? You had to press like a shoulder button and then bring up the D-pad buttons as well.
Yeah,
They've taken a little bit of that as well. It's I don't mind what I've played. To be honest, with you, I've played about 90 minutes of it.
Okay.
Because I've been busy with stuff, and I've turned it on yesterday, and I was like, I ended up in the Belfry, and I looked at, and it brought up like all the skill trees. It's like there's like four different skill trees per person.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I level up?
Well,
Nightwing,
they level up all the same time. So if one person,
okay, so it's not that bad. No, I was thinking if I've got to do each character individually, I'm just gonna stick to one character and never touch anyone else because I'm gonna stick with whatever tree. So that's good then at least.
But I've like I said, I played all the characters and I've just stuck with Robin because I like how he fights.
That's the thing. It gives you an option to it gives you different fighting styles for however you want to play it, I suppose. And because this is co-op, you could in theory play it like you say. You could have one that plays the stealth version with Batgirl, and then someone else, like you say, comes in with Robin or Red Hood, or who's a bit more physical, and you can team up like that.
So that would work definitely. It's like, because I was playing the main, because it's like a main story. Well, there's multiple main stories going on in the background. You've got all your enemies coming through. So you start with Harley Quinn, and then Penguin comes in, and then Clayfaces come about, and Mr. Freeze's come about, and they're fine. Like the story elements, they're fine, but the fights at the end are hard work on your own. Like I was playing the Harley Quinn one, and that took me 3 times to do, because not only have you got the big bosses to take it. Well, first of all, you're on a stage with because she tried to go good, but then she's gone, obviously Harley Quinn, she's gone bad again, and you're on a stage and you have to beat these 2 characters up, which is like, they have health bars. I did it. It was hard to do, but I did it. Like I got through it, and then you drop down on like a trapdoor, and then you've got another fight to do with the same characters that were upstairs. Like she's got multiple of them, obviously, because of her way her story goes. So you've got them to kill. You've got one that can heal up the other, and you've got bombs to deactivate while you're fighting, and that took a while. And I had to drop it, because I was playing on normal, and I had to drop it down to easy because it was really hard doing it on your own. And like they are saying, like, oh yeah, if you play 2-player, it obviously you for that kind of game you would need the 2-player to work. It is really hard on your own. Like I tried the freeze one, and he freezes like there's a big hospital, and he freezes that all up, and you've got to go up and get it. Going up, it was fine because you've got enemies to take down, you've got stealthy bits and everything, but then you get to his part, like his boss fight. I haven't got past that yet, and that was like right at the start of the game. Like you got him to play against him, and he's really hard. Like it's just you and him, but he's got like this freeze gun that he can freeze you with. You're stuck in like the ice, and then you have to like wiggle your stick to get out of it. By the time you've wiggled out to it, he's over to you, and then he's like got rockets at you, and then like he stands on top of this big machine that he's got, because he's froze Gotham, and he's got these beams of light coming, like beams of lasers coming out of it. The first 2 times are fine because they were just on the ground, you could jump over them. The third time they're all over the place, and you can't time anything. There's no, like with the Arkham games, you had the triangle pop up to get out of the way. With this, you have to just look and try and time it, and if you jump as the beam goes up, it gets you, and you're dead within like 2 hits. So there's some bits that are quite hard to do on your own. Like I don't know how you would do that with 2-player. I don't know how you get someone up from the ground in that one, but you don't get any AI help from your other teammates in these scenarios. So I know it's fine for what it is, but it's not Batman as in the Arkham series. With the Arkham series, it's very dark and rainy, and just you have that gothic feel. Within this one, it's neon lights everywhere, and everything's got bright lights, and there's not many people about, and it's like the public that are in the game are just very subdued. They just, if you go into them, they just jump out the way immediately, so you can't take anybody out. And there's people like empty, just standing at the what is it called, the back of their cars, just standing there, not really doing anything, but they're at the back of the cars taking things out of the boot, and it's just like, that's weird. In the middle of the road, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's not what it could have been better if they stayed with the gothic and dark theme. This is just a bit bright, and I'll probably go back to it after God of War, but that is all. Like, I've stayed away from all the hype, I've stayed away from all trailers, but I'm so excited for that game because, oh, it's so good. Like, I saw what it's got on Metacritic, it's up there. Like, I was going to play it regardless, God of War, but oh, I'm so excited for that game. I also got the Mario game, Sparks of Light or something. I only played it for a couple of hours because I got Gotham the day after. It's not more of the same. It's definitely different. You get more. With the old game, it was like XCOM, that you could only move a certain amount of like times. This one, you have like a big area that you can move around freely in your turn, and then take your turn. Which is good because, like, sometimes, because in the Mario games, you can hit an enemy that, like, bump into them, then hide around the corner and then, like, shoot them with your gun. So that's good because I like, you get this, so, like, you get a lot of one hit characters on the screen. So obviously you run into them, take them out, hide behind a block, and then take your shot at the other enemies, which is fun to do. This one is so with the last one, you had areas to go around, and it would be very linear. There was not a lot of placement around. This one, you're sent to like a land, and you can move freely around that land and do as you please and take whatever fight you want. Obviously they're all leveled, so you obviously can do them in a set order. You don't have to. You just, if you say you're a level 2 and you want to take on a level 4, you're more than welcome to be a bit of a tougher fight, but you can do that. So that was good, that I didn't have to just go here. This one I could choose and do as I pleased and in what order I pleased. So that was good. Everyone, like, there's the first land is like a beach area, so you've got people that need help with, like, I don't know, there's a beach party going on, they need help with their sound system, or there's bombs walking next to the people that want to sunbathe and they can't, so you take them out. So that's when you also get these little stars. So you used to get stars in the other games, but these stars have obviously been fused with the Rabbids, so they've got like massive eyes and they're so cute. But they give you passive stats. Well, not passive stats, but stats that, so one of them is like, can give each of your actions electric damage. So everything you do, you can obviously shock them, but one of them gives you all your everyone that's in your area, so your pals that are with you, your other companions, all get like a stat boost to their like special action. So that's quite cool. Like, you can mix and match. You don't have to have like everyone have the same. You can mix and match. You get to feed them up so they get better and more advanced. They're just, yeah, everyone gets one. I don't know if you progress and you can put 2 with you, because that would be fun to mix it up. But obviously you've got all your characters there. You've got your Rabbid Mario, your Rabbid Luigi, you've got Mario and Luigi, Peach, Rabbid Peach. It's just, they're all there. They're all just mingling around. Sometimes you have to play as certain characters, so you can only play as the princess and the Rabbid Luigi. That was one of the things where I could only play as them two, which was fine. There's different mechanics in the game. So like, there was these mushrooms normally mushrooms in the other parts of the game. You just run at them and they're one-hit wonders and they go away. But these have got hard hats on, so you have to do it a different way. You have to like tip them over, then grab them and then throw them off the map. So that was quite fun. And the game didn't tell me that. I just worked it out for myself. So again, it's a fun game. It's all bright, beautiful. It's a Nintendo game. I've not found any bugs. It's a Mario game. You know how they are. But yeah, that was good. But like I said, I haven't played a lot of it because of Gotham. And this week I've played nothing because all I want is God of War, and it's driving me insane. It's one of them long weeks that days never seem to end. But yeah, next week will be yay, finally, because it was just the last line of that game just made me go, oh my god, I know what that means. So yeah, I'd like to see how that story pans out. But yeah, that's me. Pap?
Me?
Yeah.
It's me.
It is.
I've played a little of a lot. As I
Okay.
would say, I've played about 90 minutes of Gotham Knights. I didn't mind what I played of the initial 90 minutes. But like, I found it hard to pick up again. Just because I was like, I didn't want the open the map and there's tons of stuff on the map and it's like, do this. I was like, no. I did. I opened the tutorial stuff because it wanted me to do the tutorial stuff in the Belfry, and it's like 3 different categories of tutorial, and then you go in the tutorial and there's like 10 different checkpoints, different tutorial things. Like, oh man, I just turned it off. I haven't got the patience.
But that's how you get your legendary status or something.
Probably. But I was just like, I'm not doing another 90 minutes of tutorial. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Just let me play the game at that point. It's just daft. So I've not really played a ton of it. Like I didn't hate what I played, but it's just not the type of game I wanted to play. I'm going to play co-op hopefully soon, so hopefully that'll increase enjoyability of that. I'd rather have been playing a game which I've started again, and it's Uncharted 4 because I've wanted
to play that.
It came
I
out
don't
on
know
PC.
why.
The Legacy of Thieves collection came out on PC a few weeks ago, and I very nearly bought it. And then I remembered I bought the PS5 version of that earlier in the year when it was on sale. I thought, let me I'll just play that version then. And I just whacked that on easy, and I just kind of just shimmy around cliff sides and jump around and stuff like that, and enjoy the story for what it is without really tons of thought going into it.
Yeah.
And compared to Gotham Knights, where I'm just like, oh, there's so much stuff in it, it's just bombarding me with stuff. I just thought I'm just gonna play this instead. So I've just been enjoying playing some Uncharted, and I genuinely it runs perfectly fine on the PS5. It's spot on, and yeah, it's just nice to play. It's not like it's not too taxing on your brain. It's just a nice story, and like I say, I put it on easy, so it's just because the most frustrating parts of those games are the combat sequences where you can just get bombarded by people very quickly, and then someone just shotguns you in the back or something like that, and you're like, oh well, I'm dead. I've got to go back and do another checkpoint. So it's just like, I'm just gonna play it on the easy. It's just, let's just enjoy it for what it is, because it's still a long game.
Oh yeah,
It's still quite a massive game. I think when I left off, I was in Scotland. I just got to Scotland. I was doing that because it's not even that far into it, really. No, it's not. It's still a few hours into the game, and I do like that one. As Kev said, Persona 5 Royal, I have it on the Steam Deck. I have now played up to as far as I've played on the PS4 version, which is the night before school.
Oh gosh, okay.
I've played up to where you meet the old man in the cafe.
And like the first hour.
Jeez.
Yes. Yeah. I enjoyed the first hour. The 2 times I've done it before, and I have got up to that point again on the Steam Deck.
Might I suggest you play a little more?
Yeah, I've never seen combat in this game.
Oh god.
I've only ever seen running
gosh.
around the town and conversations.
Just do
I
it
don't know
like
what
another hour or so, and you'll
Yeah,
get there.
Yeah. I think it's a daunting thing if it goes where it says time matters and do this all these things. It's like I'm like, oh god, there's a calendar. Oh god, I can't mess this up now. And I really
you'll be
realised
all
I think about it. I was like, I'll figure it out.
It did scare me hearing Kev say that he did something wrong and Sue went back and replayed the ending a different way later on, knowing
Oh
that.
yeah, there's different endings, and you can make decisions you make can cut out like half the game. It can end months earlier than it's supposed to in the calendar if you do something wrong, and you won't know. It won't be like this is wrong.
It's just
You have to
gonna
go.
happen.
Yeah, once it's done, you're then googling. Was that the real ending? Oh God, no! I've missed out over half the game. I'm reloading. You need lots of save points in this.
I don't remember. I don't remember. In my head, I had a song on the title screen when I first played this game, and then I went, "This isn't the song that was in my head."
Oh yeah, it's a different song
It's
on
the Royal
Royal than there
version
is on the
different.
original one. Yeah,
Right. Okay. That really threw me. I look at this going, "This doesn't seem familiar at all."
yeah. I have
feel-
two different soundtrack discs that
Yeah,
I can't
okay.
listen to in the car anymore because I don't have a CD player in the car anymore. It's very sad.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes.
And they're not on Spotify. It's heartbreaking.
Well, yeah, I was so confused. I was like, why is this not how I remember it? And then something happened at the start of the game. I was like, is this just the Royal version? And is this something that's tweaked ever so slightly just to throw me off? Or I just don't remember. But then again, like I say, I've only ever played the first hour of this game. So I don't know. The other thing I have played is probably about the first hour of the new Plague Tale game,
Yeah, same.
Plague Tale Requiem.
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoyed the last one a lot. It's very cool. It starts off a bit more cheerful. Probably
Yes.
probably similarly to how the start of Plague Tale Innocence started. I feel like that started off relatively innocent and friendly, and then it goes down off a cliff so quick. It does the same here. You're playing and you're playing like a make believe, like Wizards and Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing with your little brother, and then suddenly you're in this old like castle place, and there's people getting killed, and you're like, "Geez, that took a turn quick." And then suddenly we're running for your life, and then you're killing someone, and then you're getting attacked by people, and then there's a fire, and I'm like, "What the? Gee, this was just nice and friendly a minute ago, and then suddenly people are getting killed left and right, and the axes in the head, and all sorts of stuff." I'm like, "Geez." So it is looking like it's going to be another one of those grim games, but it's very good. It is very good. It looks very nice. It looks amazing.
Yeah, this will be my after God of War game. Definitely.
Probably is for me now as well. But it's
Yeah.
on Game Pass, I think. Yeah, it was
It
on
is,
Game Pass,
yeah.
yeah. So I wanted to give it a try. So that's been
Yeah, I
good.
definitely enjoyed what I played of it. But again, it's just I know what I know God of War's coming, and I don't want to sit down with that game and get far into it and then have to put it down because of that. So it's definitely an after game. I think all my games at the moment are definitely after games because that's all I want to do.
think so as well. I think so as well because, yeah, I feel like that's probably the same for me now at this point. God of War's on like the horizon, like touching distance.
Yeah, 6, 7, 5 days, I think.
I got notification that my God of War controller is on the way, or has been, I've paid
You've
for
got
it
a
now.
controller.
I bought the controller because I wanted a new controller because I think I broke one of the triggers on when I was playing Horizon. With the resistance, it went twang at some point, and now it just feels one of them feels less resistant than the other one.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just going to irk me. That's going to annoy me every time I play the PS5, and I notice it all the time when I turn the PS5 on. I'm like, the right trigger of all of them, there is less resistance on it now. And I know they made adjustments to that sort of thing when the new colours came out.
Yeah.
I'm still playing on the launch controller, and I know
so
they made
am I.
it. Yeah, so they made adjustments when the new colours came out to address certain things.
Kevin, can I have an early Christmas present, please?
No, you cannot.
So I bit the bullet because I pre-ordered that God of War controller the same day they announced the Elite. What is it? Is it a Pro controller? Whatever it is called.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, I'll wait till that comes out, and then it was like 200 quid. Never mind. Never mind, I will not bother. I don't
Yeah, I
want one
don't
that
need
much.
one of them.
As much as I do have, I've had 2 Elite controllers, Xbox controllers. I use them on the PC, and I could play them use them on the Xbox. I'm not. It would be solely be a PlayStation thing, and I can't. I'll just stick with the fancy God of War one instead.
Yeah.
So I'll pre-order that. So God of War is in touching distance.
It is.
And like you say, I'm kind of just treading water on other things now, and I'll just keep. I'll just keep putting time into Fortnite like I do. I've played a little. I got into. I don't know if I did mention this last time on the podcast where I thought I kept getting kicked out of online on Elden Ring.
Oh no!
I did. I repatched the game, and it works fine now. I got back into Elden Ring, and because I'm stupidly high level, I kind of one-shotted the first boss of the game. I went back to it, and then I played for about an hour. Once I managed to get back on and one-shot the boss.
They need to put an easy mode in this game. I really want to play it, but it just looks so hard.
They won't ever put an easy mode in. It's just a game where.
But I don't like them games, you see. But I like that. I like that world. The world looks spectacular, but the fights would just drive me insane.
I feel like you could. There's something to be said for just trying it, and because you get smashed around one place, go somewhere else, and you'll find success. And every time you find somewhere you get beat, go somewhere you find success, and get to a point where the places you were originally going and you were getting beat, go back to them at that point, and because you've leveled up and you're more powerful and you have better weapons and stuff like that, or you have different playstyles, and because you've played it longer, you understand how the game works better.
So does it matter when you level up in this game? Like, if you level up in one area, does all areas go higher in level? Do you know what I mean? Is it level?
No, I feel like you level up. If you level up, you will say I'm stupidly high level on my new game plus, and I just waltzed through it. The first boss thing, which is it's an incredibly hard boss at the first playthrough. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to do, and people just kind of disappear for hours on end before going back to that boss because it is so difficult. I walked in, slashed it around a bit, and it's trivial now, but that's because I'm stupidly overleveled. I broke the game, and I'm like level 270, and I probably don't think many people are as high as that to do this sort of thing. So, but if you try, I think it's worth trying. If I'm tempted to get it again on consoles if I see it come down in price. So who knows? Wait for a sale. Keep an eye out because it is a very good game. I think that is all of the many games I've played a little of this past 2 weeks. That is your lot.
Splendid. Well, let's wrap this up then. This is well overrun. I said I wanted to be in bed by 9. It's nearly 10 o'clock. Goodness me. So we will be back with an extra special No Sheepdog episode next week, everybody. So make sure you come back for that. It's going to be wonderful. In the meantime, make sure you follow us on all of the social media stuff. You can follow the podcast at MGUK Podcast. You can follow me at Lelujo.
And I'm at RB6K.
I'm at Miss Lelujo.
And I'm at Pab 1986.
And we will see you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, folks.